Hello, I'm Linda, and this is No Frills ASMR. We looked at this Ultimate Stars Guitars book, I think when I first started my channel, and I made some mistakes about some Stars guitars, but it's fine, who cares really? But anyway, I thought we could continue looking at some others, so I had marked the page. So I thought we could keep looking through. So we left off, I think. And if you're curious, I did make a video with all these pages, but it was, I think I didn't have a microphone. I just had my iPhone. So you can look that up. It might be okay. I don't know. And I had some things wrong. Like I talked about Jeff Beck's guitar being stolen or something. I don't even remember now. I had misinformation. But we got all the way up, I think. Well, I don't know. But I think we got all the way up to the spot right here, which is David Gilmour, who played for, or plays for, Pink Floyd. I don't know anything about him. I don't know if he's alive. That's terrible. I'm sorry. I don't really know. My son loves Pink Floyd, and if you get into his car and start driving, he has the CD, and he will look at the time and debate whether he has time to play through a certain amount of songs so that you get the full experience, or if he should just put on, Van Morrison. And then he told me how he loves Fish, and I was like, really? Because, Fish is a special thing. And he's like, I think I want to see Fish. I'm like, oh, if you start that, you're never getting out. So it's fun. Anyway, I don't know what to say. He plays a 1954 Fender Stratocaster, David Gilmour from Pink Floyd. I guess the interesting thing about the 1950 Stratocaster is that they put out this guitar. Okay, wait, before I start on that, everything I know about guitars I learned from my husband, who loves guitars and talks about them all the time. I'm not a guitar expert. This is all hearsay. So if I'm wrong, please just go ahead and comment and say that's not quite right. But my recollection is that the Stratocaster they put out in the 50s, and they've basically remained completely unchanged. It is like they built the perfect guitar from the jump, and everybody loves it. Everybody wants it. It's one of the most popular guitars there is in the world. They sell for the 1950s ones. You pay $20,000 for one of these. And, it's like everything else. They keep changing and fixing and coming up with things that should, but this guitar just stays the same. So that's all I have to say about that. I don't really know much about Pink Floyd. I like Pink Floyd. I don't know. My memory of Pink Floyd is going to visit my sister while she was in college. I was probably a senior in high school. And I went to where she was in college, which was like 10 hours from my house. And she goes, you have to hear this. And she put me between two gigantic speakers. And she put on the album. What would have come out in 1989, Pink Floyd? I feel like it was the one that goes like, hello, hello, hello. I can't remember. But anyway, and she gave me a wine cooler, and I sat there and drank that wine cooler and listened to that album, and honestly was blown away. So that's all I can say about that. All right, who do we have here? Peter Green, playing a 1959 Les Paul Standard. I think we talked about Les Paul. Oh, he's from Fleetwood Mac. I love Fleetwood Mac, but I'll be honest, I don't. I mean, I know Stevie Nicks. I don't really know him. I don't have much to say, but it's a cool looking guitar. Okay, Woody Guthrie. And look, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh so hard. It says, this machine kills fascists. I love that. Okay. And look, it doesn't give the brand he's a fascist slaying guitars. So he played acoustic guitars. He played like, what's the word I'm looking for? Folk music. The song that you might know is This Land Is Your Land. This Land Is My Land. Very famous folk song. His son is Arlo Guthrie, who sang Alice's Restaurant. But he was a giant killer of fascists. You can look up his songs. But take a minute if you don't know him and look up Woody Guthrie and become familiar, because Dust Bowl Ballads, he wrote a lot of songs about just hard times people had. Let's see if they say anything. To say that Woody Guthrie wasn't a materialistic guy might be the understatement of the millennium. Put simply, Guthrie was a people person, not a possession person, and his attitude carried right through to his guitars. He cherished his instruments as music-making tools, but he didn't prize them as objects in and of themselves. And he is even known to have given away hundreds of guitars throughout his lifetime, mostly bestowing them on other musicians who were down on their luck. Oh, that's awesome. But that's not to say he did play good guitars. He played, he played like good guitars, but he just didn't worry about. They have Gibsons, Martins. They were good. They were good guitars. Yeah. Hard-hitting songs for hard-hit people. Yeah, if you're not familiar with them, look them up. All right, what do we have? Buddy Guy. Buddy Guy. Yeah. Buddy Guy. Buddy Guy was like into... he's a blues guitar. Look up the song if you're not familiar. Damn right, I've got the blues. Oh my god, he's great. He loved to wear like polka dots. What does it say? Fender Stratocaster was this guitar. I need to back this camera up. I don't quite know how. Oh well. Yeah, see here, he's got a polka dot guitar and a polka dot shirt. Yeah. In recent years, Buddy Guy has been the subject of not one, but two Fender signature models, and he has lately been most associated with the Buddy Guy standard polka dot Stratocaster. I love it. That's so cool. As well as his flair for fashion and performance. Yeah, it's cool. Who's this? George Harrison. Okay. George Harrison. They show here 1961 Fender Stratocaster. And this cool looking guitar, but I know he said his first American guitar was a 1957 Gretsch Duojet. It was like a black guitar. I watched a documentary with my husband that was far too long about with George Harrison that I thought was kind of boring, honestly. I can't remember what it's called. But we also watched the Beatles documentary called Get Back. It was on Disney Plus. That is, if you're interested in the Beatles, watch that documentary. I thought, I'm not gonna. This is gonna be too much for me. I was fascinated. And there is this moment where Paul is writing, what song is it? Is it Hey Jude? I can't remember. Or Get Back. It was probably Get Back. And he starts kind of diddling away. And then George is like, wait, what's going on? And then Ringo comes over. All of a sudden, everybody's like, starts just adding in parts. And they write a song right in front of your eyes. It's awesome. It's incredible. There's John Lennon and George. 1968 Fender Telecaster Rosewood prototype. Yeah, I remember my husband saying, like, Fender could have, if they could have gotten George to sign off, because it was, actually, maybe it was Gretsch. Now I'm not sure, but he played on Ed Sullivan's show. I think he played his Gretsch Duojet, and sales took off for that guitar. But then he started playing these Fenders, and he would just give them away to people. And he never, like, put his name on it. Like, almost all artists put their name on a guitar. They do a guitar with, but I don't think he ever did that, which is interesting. I mean, not that he needed to. He had all the money. Let it be. But he gave away his, I think it was his Jet Duojet. He gave it away because he would just give away guitars. And then in the 80s, he contacted the guy and said, I gave you a guitar. Do you still have it? And the guy had made all these, modifications to the guitar. But he's like, yeah, I still have it. So he's like, I'd kind of like that. So he gave it back to him. And it's on the cover of his solo album from the 1980s where he's playing that guitar. Oh my God, Reverend Horton Heat. I love Reverend Horton Heat. Okay, so if you don't know who this is the Reverend Horton Heat, and he is known for psychobilly, which is like a rockabilly kind of punk. I've seen him many times. And yeah, he plays Gretsch. Usually he's playing a Gretsch. They say Gretsch 6120W. But I think they made a guitar. That's kind of his guitar. Yes, Psychobilly Freak Out. Okay, if you're not familiar with Reverend Horton Heat, look up the song Psychobilly Freak Out. No, wait, stop everything. Do it now. Psychobilly Freak Out. Okay, you're back. It's crazy awesome. And there's one called Martini Time. Oh, that song too. They're all good. If you can see him and oh, okay, here's something about Reverend Horton Heat. He tours like every day of the year. I mean, he is on tour, I think, almost 365 days of the year. I don't know that he's not ever on tour. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, can you imagine being on a bus, driving around touring? I don't know how he does it. But I think we've seen him, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. He does a Christmas show. He's great. I love him. He's great. What do they say? Anything? Given the hot punkabilly. They call it punkabilly. I think it's rockabilly. Honestly, maybe punkabilly. Okay. And twisted honky-tonk licks. The man has been laying down for 20-some years. You'd think the Reverend Horton Heat and Gretsch 6120 were a match made in heaven, or the other place, to get a little more rock and roll about it. But it's not always been thus. That's a weird sentence. In the band's early days, the Reverend, aka Jim Heath, toured with a Gibson ES 175D with Bigsby vibrato. I don't know, for people who aren't familiar with this right here is a Bigsby. And what you can do is kind of push it and it will make the strings kind of gain and lose tension. So it makes a sound that is hard to, like, we have a friend who plays guitar, and he will I could be wrong about this, but I think he will loosen and unloosen the keys to make a sound that goes like wow, wow, wow. But you can use a Bigsby and make that sound. It's like my husband always has a Bigsby on his guitars because that gives it that wow, wow kind of sound. Okay. I don't know. I could be wrong. I think that's right. Oh, there's more Reverend Hortney. Look at this. Ooh. His current main touring guitars are his signature model Gretsch 6120 RHH with TV Jones Filtertron pickups. Jimi Hendrix. Well, we all know Jimi Hendrix. I don't know if I have much to say. I know we did a 2-hour set at Woodstock. Play if you don't know him, you could look up the song Purple Haze. That's probably what he's most famous for. He was a psychedelic guitarist. It's a very unique sound. Like if you hear it, you'll go, okay, now I know that. So I think if you listen to Purple Haze, that would speak a lot to Jimi Hendrix. Yeah. Yeah, that's very Jimi Hendrix. Okay. Wow, he gets a lot of pages. Well, if you look at the top, like 10 guitarists, like when they rank them, he'll always be in the rankings. Oh, I didn't look at his guitar. Sorry. Okay, hold on. Let's go back. A Fender Stratocaster. Yeah. So he always played Fender Stratocaster. Oh, Buddy Holly. Oh my God, I love Buddy Holly. What did he play? 1957 Fender Stratocaster. Everybody loves a Fender. So, Buddy Holly is like, oh my gosh. Okay, I feel like overwhelmed by Buddy Holly sometimes because, like, songs that sort of, okay, sorry, I'm having trouble getting my thoughts together. When I grew up in the 80s, I became obsessed with Buddy Holly, and like I would listen to his, if you don't know his songs, please just go look up Every Day, and It's So Easy, Maybe Baby, Not Fade Away, Peggy Sue, That'll Be the Day. I mean, he has so many songs. Oh my God. And he wrote all the songs. And this is the part that will, like, if you don't know Buddy Holly, this is going to throw you against the wall. Get ready. He died when he was 22 years old. And he wrote all this music that people have covered and that it's like classic music. And he died when he was 22 in a plane crash. It's so tragic and so incredible. I don't know what else to say about him. 22. Oh my God. All right, let's see. Beaming out from photos with his thick-rimmed glasses and bright smile of a schoolboy, because he was a boy. He was just a boy. On picture day, Buddy Holly might not appear like much of a rebel, but Holly was nothing less than rock and roll revolutionary with a knack for innovation in just about everything he did. Yeah. In an age when recording artists were still largely packaged by record company execs and backed by studio house bands and Tin Pan Alley songwriters, Buddy Holly and the Crickets established a template that would define the genuine rock artist. They wrote their own songs, played their own recording dates, and, with the aid of occasional sidemen, took it all out on the road, too. Oh my gosh. It's just amazing to me that a guy as young as he was wrote the songs that he wrote. I don't know. Like when I was 22, I hadn't done anything. It's crazy. I just think it's amazing. Anyway, he ended up dying in a plane crash. And the song you probably know, called The Day the Music Died, is about the plane crash that killed him and the Big Bopper. They were on the plane the day the music died. Ugh, my gosh. Son House. I'm not familiar with him. He's a Delta blues shouter. Son House was the real deal. He epitomized the genre with his art, his life, and even his continual struggle with the music that he clearly loved, but also seemingly feared. Born in Mississippi in 1902. He played a national duolin and style. Oh, okay. So this is like a metal. What do you call it? Is that not a steel guitar? Anyway, these were built to like really produce sound before they had electric guitars. These would put off a lot of sound. I think that's. Oh, Chrissie Hynde. Oh my gosh. Where's Chrissie? Chrissie Hynde was is. I don't know. Are they still together? Anyway, of the Pretenders. Oh, I love her. If you're not familiar with Chrissie, first of all, she played a Fender Telecaster. Look up the song if you don't know her, Brass and Pocket. Oh my God, so good. She also, interestingly, is a vegan, like super liberal, but Rush Limbaugh, who, if you're from America, you know he's like a conservative radio host. He would use her song, My City Was Gone, for his opening. And he asked her and she was like, sure. But that, it's kind of interesting. It was before things were so heated in this country. You could just talk to each other. But she's awesome. Oh my God. Love her. Look, it says, after struggling through her efforts to kickstart a career amidst London's punk scene in the late 70s, Chrissie Hynde emerged in the early 80s. Okay, I watched a show, I feel like it was on Hulu, and I wish I could remember the name of it right now. But it was about the Sex Pistols and Johnny Rotten. And anyway, Chrissie Hynde was in it. Yeah, I mean, an actress playing her. That was good. JD Old Boy is the name of the guitar. Tommy Iommi. Oh, from Black Sabbath. Okay, that's Ozzy Osbourne's band. I listen to Ozzy Osbourne, but I don't know much about the guitar. Or this guy, I don't know him. What's this? 1953 Fender Telecaster, Waylon Jennings. Now he's part of the outlaw country. Like he hung out with Willie Nelson. Let's see. Look how his strap says Waylon. Yeah, Waylon Jennings and the boys. Okay, that's right. This is interesting. A native of Littlefield, Texas, Jennings played bass in Buddy Holly's band for what would be the Stars' final tour in late 1958 and early 1959. When the band booked a small airplane to take them between shows mid-tour, Jennings famously gave his seat up to J.P., the Big Bopper, Richardson, and in doing so he avoided the crash that took the lives of Holly, Richardson, and teen idol Richie Valens. Oh my gosh, Richie Valens, you guys. If you haven't seen La Bamba, go see it because it's great. Anyway, Jennings laid low in the early 60s, moving to Phoenix, Arizona, working in radio and putting Holly's death behind him. He slowly worked his way back into recording and live performances. Oh, that's kind of sad. I heard that story once and I kind of forgot it. So Waylon Jennings could have been on that airplane. Huh. That's kind of interesting. Eric Johnson. I don't know him. A 1957 Fender Stratocaster. I don't know him. Looks kind of like Duran Duran. Not Adam Ant. I don't know. Austin City Limits. Huh. Did they tell us anything? Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Robert Johnson. Gibson L1. All right. Robert Johnson goes way back. Way back. There is a documentary. I think it's called Crossroads. And it's about Eric Johnson. He was like the original blues. I mean, early. And okay, here's a project. If you want to know. Okay. Eric Johnson played the song Crossroads. And I think it's on YouTube. You can look up Eric Johnson. I'm sorry, Robert. I don't know why I'm saying Eric. Good grief. Robert Johnson, Crossroads. And then you can look up Eric Clapton. That's why I'm saying Eric. And Cream playing Crossroads. And they've taken his song and just, updated it to the 1970s or 60s, whenever that was recorded. But this is the original guitarist. And when we talk about Crossroads with guitar, the tale is that, oh boy, I'm going to get this wrong and I'll get in trouble, but I think it is, there's a guitarist in Memphis, and I think it's Robert Johnson, and I think he's in Memphis, but I could be wrong. And he's out in this dirt road, and the devil shows up, and they meet at the crossroads. And the song, like Devil Went Down to Georgia, is kind of about this. And the devil's like, I'll give you my, well, that's a fiddle. Now I'm questioning my own story. See, guys, every time I do this, I have stories I can't quite remember. Anyway, the song Crossroads, I think, is about meeting with the devil and them having a challenge on who can play guitar better. But now I think about the song, Devil Went Down to Georgia, is about fiddles, so I'm questioning my story. Do they say anything in here? Oh, I'm going to have to wait. I can't go on anymore now that I'm thinking about this story, because now I'm confused. Anyway, so there we go. Eric Johnson. And there he is with his guitar. A Gibson. All right, well, somebody tell me the story of the crossroads. And thank you all for watching, and I hope I didn't screw anything up too bad. But, hey, that's what I do. Also, for everybody who's put comments, like, I can't believe how kind and nice. I kind of thought, I'll start this and people are going to, I don't know. People can be mean sometimes, but everybody in the comments has been so kind and lovely. And I just can't say thank you enough for that. Like, for real, it makes me feel good. So we'll continue this another time. Thanks for watching.